Good morning. Sunday morning. Beautiful day. Yeah. Can't go to church. At least not the way I want to. So I'm at home chilling. But I still want to spend time in the Word, and I'm inviting you to join me. I'm kind of excited. God was talking to me this morning. He gave me an assignment. I want to share it with you. I know a lot of times they sit there and they say that I don't own the rights to this music. Yeah, but I'm owned by the one who they're singing about. How about that? I think I want to title this one Free Blessings. How about that? Free blessings. That might get your attention. And I want to discuss what free blessings are. Some people might look at it as crazy, and I want to talk about something that's different. We're still dealing with the pandemic situation, so needless to say, I'm at home. But I want to talk about tithing. Don't cut me off yet. Hear me out. Hear me out. Because I'm not asking for anything. I don't want anything. I'm not going to ask you to send me anything. What I have, God has given me, and I'm trying to give it to you. Everybody want to talk about tithing, but I want to explain to you this. There is more than one way to tithe. You can tithe with your time, your talent, and your treasure. It doesn't have to be just your money. Your time, your talent, and your treasure. Because there were times when I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. Does that disqualify me to tithe? No, certainly not. But I can spend time with God. And if I have a talent for building or music, the business I have now is lawn care service. I can use that. But as long as I contribute to God. And it's not about the preacher or any of that. Don't get me wrong. And I know that there are some straight up crooked preachers. Some of them just as crooked as the letter S. But that's them. We have more respect for Johnny and Junebug that's robbing and stealing and killing, because we saying they doing it for the hood, but they doing it in the hood. And then you got this preacher who may be misguided, misled, confused, or just flat out crooked, whatever the case may be. Come on now, game recognized game. If he foul, you and I both know karma is going to creep up in there on his household, just like it's going to creep up in anybody else's household. So he'll get his or she'll get hers. It doesn't matter. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But there is a way of you getting blessings that I need you to understand. And when I tell you that it's free, you need to pay attention. Because the thing about it is, I'm not asking for tithes, but they are necessary. I'm not the pastor of anybody's church right now. Not right now, I'm not. So I don't have the obligations that some of the other pastors do. I don't have the overhead. But we'll deal with that in a moment, because I really don't want to lose you in this situation about tithing. I would like, I have a lot of people tell me, well, where did tithing come from? And who came up with this? I want to show you where it came from and how it started. If you have a Bible, go to the book of Genesis, the 14th chapter. And we're going to look at where this all started. I feel a sneeze coming on, so excuse me if I do. Excuse me. Whew. Whew. Forgive me. However, Genesis, the 14th chapter, beginning at the 18th verse. I would say read 18 all the way down, but for my assignment, I'm only going to focus on 2 verses. But you can read the whole thing, and maybe one day, I've been thinking about having a live Bible study on Facebook or something where we can ask questions and answer them, but that's further down the road. But right now, the assignment that God has given me today to deal with this, and I'll explain it, is in Genesis, the 14th chapter. I want to deal with only 2 verses of scripture, verse 18 and 19, and maybe 20. Let's just see how far God takes me. Genesis, the 14th chapter, I'm going to start at 18. It says, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God, which is the God that we serve, God the Father. He was a priest. And he blessed him. He talking about Abraham. Abraham just came in from rescuing Lot and the other family members. He went to war and rescued them at the approval of God. So he's just now coming in. He's got the victory. It's evident that God has blessed Abraham to have this victory. But watch this. I want to show you something. Verse 19, he says, and he blessed him and said, blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Talking about our God. Verse 20, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand, and he gave him tithes of all. So let me get this right. The priest, Melchizedek, or Melchizedek, however you choose to pronounce it, is there with other people, but he's highlighted in this passage of scripture. He's highlighted. So you have him who's coming, and he sees Abraham coming back from being a blessing from being victorious. And it's evident that God has blessed him to be victorious. And so he turns around and brings out wine and bread, and he approaches Abraham, who is God's man right now. I mean, he's the friend of God. And he turns around and gives him tithes. In other words, let's break it down like this. Melchizedek chose to invest in what God was investing in. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Melchizedek chose to invest in what God was investing in. The same principle as our stock markets and everything. If you see that this is something that's going to be profitable down the road, you make an investment that when everything goes to its highest point, you are part of it because you got in on the ground level. Now let's talk about this tithing. I'm messing up because I'm not used to the camera being this way. Let's talk about this tithing. It's about investing in what God is investing in. Is that what it boiled down to? Investing in what God is investing in. And it doesn't matter how you invest. You can invest your time, you can invest your talent, or you can invest your treasure. It's up to you. But then it comes down to the first fruits. I myself, I don't say I got to tithe. I say I get to tithe. I don't have to tithe. I get an opportunity to tithe. Because I get a chance to give back the first fruits of what I earned. When I was unemployed, I was broke. I didn't have nothing. So yeah, I tithe my time and my talent if I could. But now I'm making money. It's not so much that I got to give God 10 cents out of every dollar, because that's what tithing is. 10 cents out of every dollar that I make. And sometimes I'll round it off. Uh, let's take a customer, for example. If I charge $40 to cut a yard, $4 automatically off the top is God's. If I charge $45 to cut a yard, I'm not going to give God $4.50. I'm going to give God $5 to round it off. Because if I'm going to be cheap with God, come on, that's just petty. He's blessing me with the equipment. He blessed me at times to have help. He blessed me with my truck. He blessed me with the customer. He blessed me with the opportunity. He blessed me with my health. And you mean to tell me that I can't give him $4 off of a yard that I'm about to cut and somebody's going to give me $40? I can't give him $4? Okay, that's up to you. Now, it's not so much about the money. Let's make that clear. It's not about the money. Tithing really ain't about the money, to be honest. Actually, the obedience is where the blessing comes in at. There's your free blessing. Because it don't cost you anything to be obedient or faithful to God. There's your free blessing. Put it on a plate with the pancakes. There is your free blessing. It doesn't cost you anything to be obedient to God. And if it does cost you to be obedient to God, I submit you take it to God so that God can help you to pay that debt like he did on Calvary's cross. But at the end of the day, be obedient. See, obedience is greater than sacrifice. That came from a conversation between King Saul and Samuel. Because King Saul was the first king, but the people chose him, and he was basically an idiot. I won't say who's in office today, but he was basically, hello, if you ever want to know what King Saul was like, go watch the news today. But anyway, King Saul done what he thought was going to make the people happy. In those days, he tried to get ratings like our president tries to get now. But he had an assignment. And so when Samuel showed up, his job was to kill the Amalekites. That was the job. You are to go kill the Amalekites, kill every one of them, kill the king, kill the queen, kill the kids. I'm sorry to say that. If they got dogs, if they got roaches, you're supposed to kill everything. King Saul chose what he thought was good and what was going to please the people. And that is when Samuel took action like he was supposed to. I'll let you read the story. I won't ruin it. But that is when Samuel told him it is better to be obedient than to sacrifice, because Saul was talking about, well, we can sacrifice these animals unto God. God didn't ask for those things to be sacrificed. He asked you to be obedient. Okay, when it comes to tithing, check this out. God asks you to be obedient. I don't care what the preacher doing. And that's another thing I want to talk about. We talking about, well, I ain't giving the preacher nothing. Check this out. We're in this pandemic. Okay? We're in this pandemic. A lot of us can't go to work. We can't make money the way we want to make money. But those bills are still here. Food still has to be bought. In fact, for those that are parents, you need even more money. Because that one meal a day, that lunch that some of us could escape, and if you were like me, those were 2 meals I was looking forward to. Don't get me wrong. My childhood was what my childhood was, and I'm blessed to have had it. But I looked forward to getting up in the morning and making it to school. Why? Because I got to eat breakfast and I got to eat lunch. Those were 2 meals I knew I was going to get. Breakfast and lunch. When I got home, if there was food to eat at home, to God be the glory. I was raised up with a single parent, and she did the best she could. And she made something happen. She used to make it happen. Trust me, she made it happen. However, I was dependent on making sure I made it to school so I could eat. What about the parents who want to make sure their children eat? There isn't any school right now. In fact, if they were depending on daycare, they're struggling to go back and forth to work to make money there. So we would say, well, where did this come from? Obedience is greater than sacrifice. Remember when you said you didn't have enough money to pay your tithes? You made all these excuses. I ain't got enough money to pay your tithes, and I ain't giving them my money. Now check this out. All you had to do was invest in what God was investing in, and you would have got a return. God makes a way out of no way, trust me. But you have to trust him and try him first. I don't worry about nothing to eat. I don't worry about those things. Because I trust God. I'm going to keep investing in God, not man, not the preacher, not the pastor. None of that. No, man. The money that I make, I need to get it away from me. Not so that I don't spend it, but because it don't belong to me. A lot of times we have to pay attention not so much of what the Bible says, but what it doesn't say. You got to read both of them. The Bible tells me that if I give to God of the first fruit, if I give to him first, he'll bless the latter. If I give to God first, he'll bless the latter. So if I give him 10 cents out of $1, the 90 cents is blessed. If I give him $10 and I made $100, the $90 is blessed. And I'm telling you, when your money is blessed, let me tell you an example how your money is blessed. There was a vehicle I wanted. I didn't have enough money for it. Guess what? They dropped the price of the vehicle down to reach my money and didn't even know how much money I had. When I go to the grocery store, I get what I need. Every now and then I might get some ice cream or something I don't need. But when I get to that register, I got enough money. And there have been times when the register rung up exactly what I had. Or I might have went over. And I put that Kroger's card up there and it deducted what I didn't have so that I could have what I had. The money is blessed. I'm blessed. My house is blessed. Why? Because I invested in God's house. And so God, in turns, invests in my house. Hello? If you want to keep it street, we can keep it street. Business is business. This government is not going to give you anything unless they can get something out of it. Where do you think they got their principle from? There are no personal blessings in God. You want a new car? Let him know you're going to use it to help build the kingdom. You'll get the car. You want some new clothes? Take the old clothes that you know you can't fit anymore and give them to somebody. Invest them into a place that's investing in God's people. And God will turn around and invest in you. The government wants to take taxes. Wants a return. Now keep in mind, God don't need your money. He don't need none of that. But it's a place that he agrees to meet with you. And that place is obedience. God don't tell you you have to invest your money. No. He don't tell you he don't need nothing from you. He really don't need you. Keeping it real. He don't need you. However, he does give you an opportunity to invest in him. And he'll invest in you. Yeah. Read Revelations, 3rd chapter, I think it's 20 or 21, where he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. And the man that hear me open up the door, I'll come in and sup with him. Plainly means I'll come in and live with him. Invite God in. Everything that we were sitting here holding, I ain't giving up my money. I ain't giving up my time. All that has been taken or decreased. Hello? Remember the children of Israel went into captivity. Why? Because they would not let the land rest. They were disobedient. And now you can't hide in a church full of people when the tray get passed around and you want to show everybody you tithing. Really? No. It's an individual basis now. Individual household now. You struggling? Listen, a lot of us are in debt. We're in debt. A lot of us don't have enough money to pay our way out of debt. But you can give your way out of debt. Did he just say that? Yeah, he just said that. You might not be able to pay your way out of debt. But I guarantee you can give your way out of debt. Start investing in God's people. Start being a blessing to God's people. Well, then you say, well, who are God's people? Well, now, how do I answer that plain and clear for you? Who are God's people? Check this out. Let's go with what Jesus said. When he was talking to his disciples, he told them, he says, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. Wow. When I was in prison, you came to see me. And the disciple says, when were you hungry? When were you in prison? And when were you naked? He said, when you've done it to the least of my little ones, you've done it unto me. So now, when you see somebody naked, which is mean exposed, that could be a couple of different things. They could be in a shameful situation. Doesn't have to mean physically naked. You covered them. It could be not covering a lie, but covered them. You don't have enough money at the grocery store. I got money. I just got paid. You gonna put back that bologna? You gonna put back those eggs? I don't. Not with me in the line with you. Because if I got it, no, don't put your food back. I'll cover that. That's covering someone. Hello? You don't have to know them. They don't need to show you ID they belong to God. They don't need to prove to you they serve God. They don't need to prove none of that. It's called faith. By faith, they went to the store. By faith, you're giving to them by faith that they belong to God. I don't care. Invest in what God is investing in. You don't have enough money to pay your way out of debt. Calvary's cross proves that. Because Jesus paid a debt that he didn't owe. So you don't have enough money. I don't care how much money you got. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're on top. Got plenty of money in the bank. I don't care if you're in the hood. Got plenty of money in the bank. You probably still owe that plug and can't get out the game. Hello? Nah. Got all the nice house and the car, but you're still in debt. And we so crazy. God bless us to pay all our creditors and pay everything. We go looking for something to invest in so we can have some more money. What better investment than a house of God? Ain't it funny? We can go to Walmart. We can go to the drugstore. We can go to Kroger's. We can go everywhere we need to go. Because the world wants to keep its business going. But we can't go to church. So what's the church supposed to get closed down now? Because the bills aren't being paid? Really? Invest in God's house. Like I said, I don't have a church that I'm the pastor over right now. So I don't need anything. But I submit to you, if you're struggling, I don't care how little it is. The widow woman who had lost her family, her husband, didn't have nothing. She had 1 penny. And she took that 1 penny and invested that 1 penny in the house of God. And Jesus told his disciples she gave more than the ones that were rich giving. Because they gave out of what they wanted to give. She gave out of her need. Try God. Give God what you need. And see what he does. I know it for sure. Short, quick testimony. $50. Those that know me know that $50 in my hand, I used to work some show enough unrighteousness. I turned that $50 into something else. Now, this goes to show how long ago it has been. I had a water bill that was $50. You know, $50 don't pay water bills today. So this was over 20 years ago. Yeah, I've been on this road over 20 years now. But I had $50. I was living down on Cincinnati Street in Dayton, Ohio. And I had a choice to make. Pay that $50 so that my family can have water, or gamble and try to go get on and flip this $50, take a chance on some other things. I trusted God. I went down there and paid that $50, and I was comfortable. I trusted God. I paid that $50. My wife didn't know what the situation was because I took care of the bills. But I paid that water bill when I came home. And I had a good idea when I got home. I got me a bucket, some dishwashing liquid, and some rags. And I set up shop in front of my house washing cars. And I made quite a bit more money than that $50 just washing cars. God sent people by to wash their car. I really did. Some of the guys from the hood, I'll leave them nameless, but they were what I call hood heroes. Brought their car by and they was like, man, is that Big Gene washing your car? Yep. I'll say Willie O. I was washing his car. And they was standing across the street at Ricky's house, and they like, man, why is he washing your car? Is he smoking or something? And I was waiting for the insult. I was waiting for the cracks. And Willie O said something that blessed my soul. He told him, he said, no, man, he decided he wasn't going to hustle no more. And that's what he doing, take care of his family. And when you know it, another guy said, hey, man, can I get next? I said, yep. There was another one of my entrepreneur situations that God created. I was washing cars for a little while. I was junking for a little while. I cut grass. Man, it's endless. But it came from investing in God. God opened up the door. But had I not taken a chance, that same $50 could have blinded me to the hand of God. Some of us are blind because we refuse to give God what belongs to him in the first place. All it was obedience. And where was the tithing in that $50? Gene, trust me. Obey what I tell you, and I'll bless you. I trusted God. I obeyed him by not trying to invest in the world, which was going to help me to handicap somebody, which was going to help me with that witchcraft that I was doing, because that's just what it was. I don't care what nobody say. Selling drugs is witchcraft. It ain't no different. You still casting spells in them little vials and them plastic bags, whatever. It's casting spells. It is what it is. I'll elaborate on it later. But my assignment today is about tithing. I'm not asking for your tithes, but I am asking you to invest in God's house. I don't care what church you go to. I don't care. I didn't say send it to somebody on television. That ain't what I said. A local church. If you don't like this preacher, fine. Find another church where you don't know the preacher, because we forever looking at people's faults. But invest in God's house and watch God invest in your house. The message for today, you want free blessings? Be obedient. And watch and see what God doesn't do. The message for today, to get your free blessings, is obedience. Okay, well, what am I obeying? Some preacher without a church simply said to you, invest in God's house and watch what God does to your house. Plain and simple. You can delete the video, you can erase the video, you can move on. But if you want a blessing from God, I submit to you, invest in God's house and watch and see, don't God invest in you? I appreciate your time. My time is up. I encourage you to continue to try to do the best you can to bless God's house and watch God bless your house. He invested in you. When he hung on Calvary's cross, when he gave his life, when they pierced him in his side, when they beat him, he paid a debt he didn't owe that you might go free. If you don't have any money to invest in God's house, invest yourself. So a lot of us, we're not even saved. Thank God I'm saved. But if you're not saved, find a church. Join the church. Get baptized. Change your ways. Invest yourself in God. If you don't have nothing else, invest yourself. The man hanging on the cross beside him, he says, this day you shall be with me in paradise. He gave him a body. You can give a life, your life. The man on the cross gave God a body to take home. You can give God a life to take home. Invest in God. Invest in his people. Invest in the kingdom and get your free blessings. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.